Hello and welcome to Update Novi. Happy to be here this month. We have two distinguished guests that are definitely not strangers to the show. Mayor Fisher, thanks for joining me.
Good morning, Cheryl. Happy June to you.
Happy June. Yeah, this will probably air in July, but we can say Happy June.
That's all right.
Happy summer.
Happy summer.
And Chief Zinser, you know, I say no strangers to the show, no stranger to the studio.
That's right.
Because it's your first time on Update Novi.
Yeah. Good morning, how are you?
I'm good.
How's your summer going?
It's going. Okay. Yeah, I know.
Warm enough for you? We're coming out of this warm spell in mid-June.
Yeah, that was a little hot last few days.
It has been very hot. Everyone stayed safe in Novi, though, Chief,
it
right?
didn't affect anybody that I'm aware of.
Very good.
That was all good. Yeah.
That's good.
Hopefully it'll be a little bit milder coming here. So
when you say how's summer going, I guess we're here to talk. We've been busy, and I'm not saying busy. You probably have been busy calls-wise, Chief, too. But we've been busy educating the community and what we're going to talk about today. And you and I have done a couple podcasts, the Now You Novi, and shared the information. And Mayor Fisher said, hey, you know, we need to have one last opportunity to get out in front of the public here on video, on social media, and really help them have the information at their disposal, at their fingertips about the upcoming bond proposal.
Yeah, aside from the shows we've done about 28 HOA meetings, homeowner association meetings, along with some other community meetings. So it has been busy getting the information out there. So, and take one more opportunity here to get a video out before the election.
So, in case someone is watching, listening, and goes, wow, I had no idea, which there's plenty of opportunity to become informed. Let's rewind. And Mayor, why don't you set the stage to what brought us here in the middle of summer back to, I'm going to say, is it March?
March.
Yeah. Well, I would say it even goes beyond that. There have been a lot of discussions over the years at a staff level and a council level about public safety buildings and what we can do to make sure that we're set as a city for many years in the future. So after a group of people got together and did a study and made a recommendation to City Council to go to the voters and put together a proposal of a certain amount of money and a certain number of buildings, and Council voted 7-0 to go ahead and go to the voters with this proposal. And I'll let Chief get into the specifics of it, but I would say that Council did a lot of work, had a lot of discussions. All those meetings were public, and all the studies that we looked at were public as well. So thought it was time to really put it to the voters and let them make a decision for the future of Novi.
So all of the information, when you say predates March. All of this information, anything that we're going to talk about today, cityofnovi.org/2025 bond is a great resource for anyone that is looking for information, educational opportunities about what is being proposed. And
exactly.
To your point,
all the studies that we have seen as a council, as a staff, all those are on that website.
More than a decade, Chief, right?
Yeah, so on the website we have facility needs studies that date back to 2005, I think.
Okay, so 2 decades.
And we've been doing those and trying to figure out what can we do with our facilities to not only continue to provide that excellent service to our residents, but how do we enhance on that? And the last study that we did was in 2022. And at that time, they recommended a build out on the police department for roughly $10 million. And at that point, we knew the condition of the fire departments, and we took a step back and we formed a committee, like the mayor was kind of alluding to say what is our best option here? What can we do to really improve our facilities? And that's when the decision was made to put it to the voters on the August 5th ballot to build new public safety facilities. So
if someone's gotten this far, we encourage them to go to the website, again, cityofnovi.org/2025 bond. let's talk about the nuts and bolts of what is being proposed.
Yep. So, like the mayor said, the council unanimously came together as one on this, and they put an initiative on the August 5th ballot for a bond to build new public safety facilities. Now, what that bond is, it's $1 million, not to exceed $120 million for 25 years. Now, how does that impact your household? I always, when I go to these HOA meetings, I tell folks, don't try to do the math in your head on this, because the website that we built, that Cheryl's group built, is a fantastic website, and it has a tax calculator on there, and you enter your house number, drop-down menu for your street, and hit enter, and it'll tell you exactly how your home will be impacted.
That honestly is one of my favorite features, and what I've heard from residents of that website is because people want to know. As an elected official, as staff, everyone wants to know, what does it cost me? What is the impact to me? And I can tell you, a lot of residents have just loved that because they can see to the penny their own circumstances.
But broadly, so the median home price in Novi is $400,000. Your taxable value on that home is $200,000. So your increase on taxes would be $200 a year. So that's, without going to the tax calculator, you kind of figure out your value of your own home and go from there. But the tax calculator is a wonderful tool.
It sounds like maybe over the last couple of months, not only have you worn the hat of police chief and public safety director, but now you've turned to kind of like assessing department too, I guess, huh?
Well,
learned a lot about taxable values.
I'm just trying to get the information out there.
Of course.
So
right. So what does the bond entail? What we know the cost. We know how people can determine the cost. But what will the increase pay for? So
we're looking at replacing the police department and 3 fire stations. Our fire station number 1, which is located right now on Grand River Avenue and Crescent Drive, we want to combine that fire department with the police department, call it a public safety building, so combine 2 buildings into one. We want to replace fire station number 3, which is located on 9 Mile near the railroad tracks. You should be familiar with that. And we have a new location for that one. And we have we want to replace fire station number 2, which is located up on 13 Mile, just west of Novi Road. So we're looking at a different location for that as well. So new police department, replace fire station number 1, fire station number 2, fire station number 3. Now, we also have fire station number 4, which is out at 10 Mile and Wixom Road. That is our newest facility. It was built in 2003. We moved in 2003. And if you think about your own homes, 20 years later, you start looking at new roofs, windows, some cosmetic stuff. So we want to divert some of those funds to station number 4 for some cosmetic upgrades, some technology upgrades, and that's also our training center for the fire department. So we want to upgrade some of the training stuff there as well. So all public safety buildings either would be replaced or receive enhancements, upgrades. Yes. I think one of the key points to the why is we can sit here and just say, well, we want to do this. The why is they're 40 plus years old. You know, Fire Station 3, the oldest fire station, I believe, was 1978? Yeah. 78, 79, yeah. And it's old. If you walk in the building, you just step back into 1978, 79. It's had very, very little upgrades. It's very small. It's actually built on a peat bog that had to be backfilled to build the building. But the fire stations, they've outlived their purpose. I mean, they cannot be upgraded anymore. One of the big problems we have at the fire stations is the size of the bays where we park the fire trucks. Fire trucks, back in late 70s, were much smaller than they are today. The newest engine we have, we struggle to get it into Station 3 or Station 2, and our tower truck will not fit in either one of those stations. So we have those considerations there. The fire department, they lack female facilities. Talk about bathrooms and shower facilities, because back, in the late 70s, the workforce has changed, and I don't think people really foresaw having female firefighters, and we have 5 female firefighters, so we need to have facilities for them as well, right? Showers, bathrooms, and all that sort of thing. So those are the biggest problems with the fire stations. They're not adaptable anymore. And we've looked at adding on to the fire stations. The problem there is they're landlocked in that there's no more space to build on the lots where they sit. So we're looking at replacing those, and we have the similar problems at the police department. So.
So, again, I keep plugging the website because we're not going to have enough time to talk about everything. But in detail, the website shares the plan, the fire station, the proximity of where the proposed new facilities are to be built. It is in very close proximity. The police and fire headquarter facility will be in close proximity to the Firearms Training Center, the Department of Public Works facility. The bond also includes construction of a roadway to ensure response times remain for Fire Station 1 in the central location of the city to where they are now, correct?
Yeah, so one of the big questions in the HOA meetings that I've attended and spoke at is how do these new locations affect the response times? We've done the runtime analysis, and they're not going to impact the response time significantly. The state of Michigan and the Oakland County Medical Authority, their threshold for a priority run fire department fire run is 9 minutes or less. I got a report the other day, we're under 5 minutes on those on average. So we're doing the runtime analysis, and we're only moving to fire stations half a mile in either direction of any of the fire stations. So I don't anticipate response times being impacted. Those are our cornerstone for our fire department, and we will continue to maintain exceptional response times.
Switching to the police side, Chief, one question I often hear is, okay, we have the police station where it is now. A lot of people tend to think that that's kind of centrally located per se in Novi, and now we're moving it over to Liebigol Drive behind Walmart. And how will that impact police response times? And I know the answer because I've heard it, but I think it's important to share realistically how the police operate and how those response times also won't be impacted.
Yeah, so that's another common question we get. The police department is actually not centrally located. We're really on the south end of the city. So we are moving to a more central location of the city, and there's a misconception that police officers respond to the calls from the fire stations or from the police stations. That's not the case. It's rarely that they respond from the police station. We have 2 officers assigned to each district, and the police officers respond to their calls from their districts. And more often than not, depending on where they're at in their district, when they get a call, they're probably further from the location than if they were from the police department, if they were responding from the police department. So the response times, I don't foresee those being impacted at all. The response from the police are not going to be impacted by moving the building. So that's a very common question, and people, folks that live close to the police department, they don't want to see the police department move, but people live way up in the north end of the city, well, we're moving the police department closer to them. So, yeah. But that does come up quite a bit.
Yes, I've heard that as well.
What else do you think is important for people to know, Chief?
Well, I think it's on the police department side. I think it's important to understand that we moved into the police department in 1980. At that time, the population was right around 22,000-ish residents, and we had at that time 35 sworn officers and about 15 civilian employees. Now we have 66,000 residents. We have 73 sworn officers, and we have about 35 civilian employees all working out of the same facility. So we're out of space.
You touched a bit on the female impact and the changing demographics of the employment workforce on the fire side. I assume the same is happening on the police as well?
Yeah, so we are 20%, our sworn staff is 20% female. We are very proud of that number. The national average is about 13.5%. Yeah. But we're out of locker room space in the female locker room. We're out of locker room space in the male locker room. We converted a single-use bathroom into a multi-use locker room just to make some more space. It's just the building is no longer adaptable to current trends, let alone the next 50 years. Mm-hmm. So we want to build buildings that are going to carry us through the next 50 years. We're not talking about what we need today. We're talking about what are the public safety services going to look like 50 years from now. We need to be prepared for that because we don't know what that's going to look like. I can envision adding staffing at some point, but we have to have some place to put staffing, which is we don't have that now. So that's really what we're looking at doing.
Another component too on that is, and I don't think a lot of residents realize, we have over the last decades, and probably not envisioned back in 1980, partnerships where we have state police, Secret Service embedded in our department as well, and the need for space for them as well. So maybe if you could just touch on that component too.
Yeah, we entered into a partnership with the Secret Service Fraud Task Force, which is made up of federal agents, local detectives. That task force for the last, I don't even know, 10 or 12 years has worked out of the Novi Police Department. We are very fortunate to have that task force there, but that adds about 15 people who's working out of the building. Same with the state police. A lot of people don't understand, but the state police have area detachments, and we have a detachment of state police troopers that works out of our building as well. So that adds a few more folks that work, coming and going out of the building, and about a little over 100 volunteers. So there's many more people,
invaluable
coming out of the
partnerships
people
too,
yes,
right?
So,
As
and we need to keep those, and we want to make sure that we can provide space for them too. So, yeah.
One other question before we sign off today that I think we hear or get asked a lot is what's going to happen with the current facilities?
Yeah, that's a big question. Yeah. The fire departments that I've already spoken to, they've spoken about, they're beyond their usefulness. They cannot be repurposed. They're going to be torn down. The city then will have the option to sell those properties where the fire departments currently sit, and maybe pay down the bond, or that's an option. But I think the city's considering selling those properties. The police department, our owner's rep that we've hired is kind of guiding us through this, has said that the construction of the police department, given that it's cinder block construction, it creates challenges to repurpose the building. The city, I think, would like to repurpose the building, or at least repurpose the property for some kind of community center, if you will. But the building itself is not adaptable to that. With the cinder block construction, the structural integrity, you can't tear out those walls to put a pool or gymnasium or large community room in. So they're also recommending to tear that building down. But I think the city they want to keep that property for something.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that, when we talk about the several buildings, the Fire Station 4 improvements, the road improvements, and the demolition of each of these buildings, that's all encompassed in the $120 million.
Yep.
So our owner's rep, staff, council had made sure that all of the costs associated with this program are included in that 120. But yes, and we didn't want to see buildings vacant and get dilapidated, so we wanted to make sure that we do demo the buildings that have been recommended for that by the owner's rep. So it's all under consideration and kind of in the plan. From a council perspective, the current police station, it's part of the campus, as you said, envision something going there. I see that as kind of phase 2 of what we'll do with some of these properties, if you will. The first step is just making sure that we can get the buildings down as recommended.
Sure, and I think that plays too, Mayor, into a larger picture. Last month, you and I had Superintendent Mike on here, and their plans for the campus and what does that look like. So a phase 2 is to what's needed and where it's needed on the campus, right?
We always have new challenges, and we'll discuss that as a council over the years to come.
Yep, good stuff. Thanks, Chief.
You're welcome.
Any parting words that you want to share, other than you want to plug the website one more time? I don't think I've said it enough, because I truly believe we've provided a great space and opportunity for people to become educated.
It is a great website. In the meetings I've gone to, people have gone to the website already, have said it's a wonderful resource. All the studies we've done are on there, the tax calculators on there, the
We do have
the
one more
flyers on there.
informational meeting coming up too. I guess we could
Oh,
share.
yeah.
Later in July, we do have one. We've hosted informational meetings. One of the components is, open the doors, let people see the stations because they're not my stations, your stations, they're the community stations, right? Let them come in and see what the conditions are and how old they really are. We do have one more meeting left, and that's at Fire Station 3 at the end of the month.
Fire
right?
Station 3, I believe it's July 24th.
I think so too.
And it's
in the
important
evening.
for folks to come in and see the stations. I can tell you that that the residents that have come in and they've walked around the buildings have said, "Wow, we understand. We understand what the need is." So that's why I would encourage folks.
And many of
to come
which
to this
have
one last
never
one.
visited
Yeah.
any of the facilities before, right?
Yep.
They're in the community. It's just one of those things you take for granted.
Exactly. Even as an elected, we've all been through the stations, and so I just want to say on behalf of City Council, I love what you guys, Cheryl, your team, Chief Martin, have done to get the information out to residents, right? Between the 4, 5, 6 informational, the 30 homeowners, this website, I think you've done an amazing job. And so, kind of signing off, I would say, please, I'd implore my fellow residents to get out there, attend one of these sessions, check out the website, be informed, and get out and vote.
Yeah. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing the information again. And the election is August 5th.
August 5th.
And we're sitting here on June 26th, and absentee ballots go out now. So the opportunity to vote is available for residents now. That information too is on the website. So our city clerk's page and our bond page have all the information you need to come out and vote on August 5th. So thank you both again.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Until next time, there you have it. Take care, and I will encourage you one more time to go to cityofnovi.org/2025 bond to educate yourself before you vote on August 5th. Take care.